this came up because I saw this meme about this guy like clubbing, and I was like, wow, when is the next time like I'm gonna go clubbing like that? Like, social media, it gets me so nostalgic about the kind of lives that I've lived before, and that's something that I hate about the constant having access to memories or to different lives that we used to live at some point, especially through, your archives and your memories and your phone gallery and those photos and everything. Like, I bet all of us will every now and then go down this rabbit hole of looking at the gallery, seeing like past moments, and just reading old notes, things like that. Like, there's always this desire to bring the past to the present, to bring it make it alive again in order to, I don't know, like maybe to reflect or maybe to be nostalgic about something that is no longer your reality. And I feel like there's just, for instance, this came up because I saw this meme about this guy like um clubbing, and I was like, wow, when is the next time like I'm gonna go clubbing like that? Like, I mean, this was like a club in Amsterdam, right? And I am nowhere near anything like Amsterdam right now, or like with a club. Like, obviously, there's been moments in my life when I've had clubbing very accessible. If anything, when I was younger, I used to party a lot, like really a lot, and go hard and just drink a lot and all these things that my body couldn't take anymore. Obviously, not to that extent. Yesterday was a salsa night, and I danced for like 2 or 3 hours. It wasn't that crazy, and my knees were hurting at the end of the night. Like, imagine. I used to stand up for like 12 hours and just not sit down, and then obviously like my body would be kind of in pain the next day, but it was not like in the middle of the night I could start feeling my knees. So there's something about that, like about having a constant access to the things I used to do and the person that I used to be, that is just disorienting for the person that I am now and my reality now, because then it will stand in constant contrast with other things. But at the same time, it does make me think about when I was younger and like before I had experienced any significant changes in my life and my surroundings. Like when I was in high school and when I was growing up, I was always in the same town, pretty much in the same reality and with the same friend group for a really long time, like all of my high school years, right? So, but even then, I was very ambitious about change and I really wanted something different. And it was also because I did not live in the most ideal conditions. But even then, there was already this drive of like longing for something else. Not entirely sure what it was, but eventually I just kind of went out and started seeing all these different things and living all these different lives. So I feel like I'm constantly testing a little bit of everything, a little bit of all the different realities that I can have access to, because there's some limits, obviously. Like, there's places where I won't be able to go in as a woman, and there's places where I won't be able to go in as like a racialized person, and then there's places where I just won't be able to go in because like language barriers or cultural barriers or things like that. Like, there will always be limits to the kind of experiences that I can have, but among the ones that I can have, like, I try to have as many as possible. So I think there's those two aspects at play in this. One is the fact that I've already have this kind of natural ambition to always look for something different, and obviously like the flashier things will call my attention more. So like the clubs and the parties and like the outfits and like anywhere where this can be just very apparent and like it can be very big and lights and like a lot of movement and a lot of people. I think that will always stand out more. So among those memories I have access to, like physically on my phone and then like mentally in my mind, those will always seem more fun, even if I might have been having more fun just at home with some friends. And I think there's a lot of very dear memories, probably like just at home or maybe in a school dorm or just hanging out somewhere, or just going for a walk. Like, that was not particularly flashy, but where I felt just really good. And it was because I was feeling so good, I wasn't recording it as like this will be a future memory or even taking a photo of that moment. There's so many of those nice, beautiful, intimate, warm friendship moments that are not yeah, they're not recorded anywhere because that was not the point. The point was that you were just so present that it almost escaped the memory to feel that way. Um, and I think there's obviously something beautiful about having a lot of those, and I know I've had them, but it's also now that I am voicing that, it's kind of hard to try to accept that there's a lot of those that I won't really have access to, and a lot of those conversations that I won't remember, and it doesn't matter. But it's like, I feel nostalgic about memories precisely because all my reality, like all our realities are about the memories that we're building and the access that we have to those memories. Like it's so important that later on I'll have a photo of this just so that like I'll remember it, and that when I'm old I'll be able to see how it looked like when I was younger and the things that I was doing, just in case like one day I forget, I can look back and say like, oh wow, like what a cool life that you had or whatever. But then precisely that fucks you over when your immediate reality is not ideal, because then you keep comparing it to like the thing that it could have been, so, or that it could be, or that it was before that it no longer is. So right now when things are very mellow in my life and I'm just starting in a new place, and starting in a new place always necessarily entails kind of a lot of downtime or a lot of silence, or a lot of moments that just don't feel quite sufficient, where maybe like right now for instance I just watched a movie and it's like a very chill Saturday, and I went out yesterday, right? And I've seen people during the week, so it's not like, oh, I have not talked to another human being or seen another human being, but even all the people around me right now, we're still in that process of building like that rapport, and I'm becoming closer with some of them, which is nice. It's nice like building those friendships, but it's also like not all that close to the point where I'm like 100 super comfortable, like I could tell this person anything. Like, I'm still kind of navigating our the level of a friendship, and in the greater scheme of things this doesn't really matter. Ultimately what matters is that the friendships are built and that there's an effort to have that community, and feel supported and support and feel loved and love, and like give and take. It's kind of the symbiosis, right? But yeah, I guess right now I cannot help but think of like, wow, like if this was a Saturday in any of my other past lives that I've had, like I probably would know where to go. I probably would know who to text or who to hang out with or what to do. But I think now it's more like just a quiet Saturday for me, and I don't get a lot of these, which is good. Like I've generally had a pretty busy semester where I either have stuff to do and have work to do, and I mean the end of the semester is nearing. We're in November, right? So I do have stuff that I could be doing, but I don't feel like fucking doing homework or reading. Actually, guys, this book is really great. It's called Pilgrimages, Peregrinajes by Maria Lugones, and it has drawings, but the drawings are not trying to interpret the text. The drawing are just, you know, there, and there's text, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on, and then you just kind of have to sit down with it and process it. When there's downtime, you cannot help but think about these things, unless you're gonna be scrolling all day or maybe reading. I mean, you could be reading. That's why it's good to have books that are not academic, and just have other activities other than academia to do to like keep you off of that mindset and keep you off of the silence sometimes. I'm reading this book, Catabasis. It's about these two PhD students who get caught in hell, and a friend sent it to me because she was like, I guess because I'm doing a PhD right now, and she was like, I think you would like this. And I actually really like it. My conclusions on memories and thoughts and the archive and just having this constant access to a stream of information, I think it's important to remember that whoever that person is as well is very contextual. And I believe 100% that the environment that you're in will affect you and even affect your personality. Like, I see myself in different environments with different kinds of people, and I become such a different individual every time, like there's always some core part of me that remains, right? Like I think that the part of being philosophical has been with me my whole life, and being artistic, like those are tendencies that I have. But then if I'll be more extroverted, if I'll be more introverted, if I'll be, organizing more things, if I have more energy or less energy, like that really, really depends a lot on the people who are around me and on the environment and how, I guess, inspiring it is. So I think that's why it is so easy for us to get drawn back into these thoughts of where we used to be and how much better life used to be and all these things, because clearly, like, you are, if anything, you miss a version of you that just cannot travel these worlds at the same rate as you do, because, and I think that's part of the reason why this traveling is so addictive, and I don't just mean like traveling like, oh, I am here today and then I'm in Philadelphia somewhere or something like that. Like there's some of that traveling, but I mean like this, how Lugones uses world traveling, she kind of refers to the self. Like it's almost code switching in a way. That's how I understand it. Like here you express yourself and you're also understood in a certain kind of way, but then with another group of people that switches, and then you also adapt your speech accordingly, and sometimes you realize that people are perceiving you differently and that you're communicating differently, and sometimes you don't, but it's still happening. um, and yeah, so there's like all these kinds of world traveling that are, very, maybe even happening in instances and in seconds. And so there's a couple worlds where I live right now where things have been good and I am just not thinking about the memories, but there's a couple other worlds where those memories come back to me and I have this nostalgia and I miss this person, or I miss the memories that I have of that person again, because I was not perceiving these moments from a third person perspective. It was more like whatever is left in my mind of how I felt, and whatever, like those dopamine spikes, those little moments of joy, those laughters, and like thinking of me as someone who did more jokes and who shared my art more and all that, like that is just so stuck to a moment in time. And all I can know is that that moment is no longer with me as intensely, or that's what it feels like. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like it's more like I'm also, on top of being in the process of getting used to a new environment, I'm getting used to myself in this environment. So that's why it all feels a little bit alien too, and that might be why moves are hard, because it's like you're even seeing yourself, like, and you don't recognize yourself. You're like, what is, who's that? Like, what is going on? And I guess this has happened before, so I know how to deal with it. I know that the number one antidote for all these questions is time, because once you get a feel for all the moving parts, and once you get acquainted to the environment, and once you get acquainted to yourself, and you get a couple chances to hang out with yourself and others, and just get situated, then it gets better. But the process of getting situated, oh my god, it's like this earthquake. It's oh so shaky, and yeah. But it's been worse, to be honest. Like I think this is why I'm not as depressed as I've been. I've been in other moves, and I don't know if that's because I'm an adult and I just kind of know how to deal with like discomfort better, or what. But I've been pretty healthy, all in all, which is a good thing. Like if anything, it's been more like my mental concerns that have taken place in anything. So that makes me feel like a normal human being. Like, okay, I'm functional and I'm healthy, but I have questions and concerns about the future. That's everyone. If anything, I'm like the most stereotypical thing ever, right? So I think that's a good thing. Um, Being on par with the confusion of your mid 20s, and yeah, maybe it's because I'm turning 25 fairly soon, actually, like in 2 months. So maybe I'm just quarter life crisis. I don't know. Just living life. Um, I hope your crisis is not super overwhelming if that's why you're watching this. And yeah, I hope this resonates. I don't know, just thinking out loud.